morning. This is Yvette C. Owens, and it's my pleasure to be with you this morning. I hope you're doing well here and in the marketplace. I hope you're doing well in the workplace. I hope you're doing well in your organizations and you're not letting those things, the drama that we're seeing in our world, in our society, and our culture, impede your ability to succeed. There's so many things that are coming at us and in our work lives and even in our personal lives, and it all impacts us, our ability to be effective everywhere we go, everywhere we are. And if we are not taking control of it, if we're not stepping away from some of the drama that we don't create but somebody else has created and they bring to us, then we're going to find ourselves carrying a lot more weight than what we are supposed to carry. So again, good morning. This is Yvette Owens, and welcome to Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, where we look at the behaviors of organizations and behaviors within organizations that impact the people who work there, that impact the success and your ability to reach those in the marketplace in your community. It impacts your ability to make profit and get return on your investment. And so today we are talking about having a full court press past the drama. Past the drama. And so, again, welcome. Come on in. I welcome you to Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens. I am a coach. I work with those who feel stuck, especially those in leadership and executive roles, those who are looking to move and beyond where they are, go to that next place and would like a strategic plan, not only a strategic plan, but also a way to execute and implement. There is a difference between planning, executing, and implementing. And if we're not very conscious of those three steps, then we will find ourselves stuck. Not that you're not planning, but and not that you're not necessarily executing, but if you're not fully implementing, and that requires us to be aware of the changes in our that need to take place. Resistance. How do we cascade information? How do we make sure everyone involved and who's going to be impacted was involved in the beginning? Not doing those things can cause drama in your organization, unnecessary drama that you don't have time for when you have to go with a full court press, when you need to get from point A to point B. And so, how you manage a change is very, very critical. Very critical. So I hope you're having a great day. Again, this is Yvette C. Owens of Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, and we look at how organizations are behaving, the culture that's been set in an organization. And I always say, if leaders aren't intentional about setting that culture, then the culture will be defined by everyone else. And you may end up with something that you weren't expecting. Hey, how about this? You may end up with a freaky culture when you really want a fantastic culture, a culture that's going to fund your organization, fund your vision, a culture that's going to push you and challenge you to be able to continue to move and grow. So, we're talking about how do we get past the drama? Once again, resistance sometimes shows up when we are making a change and we have not involved everyone that will be impacted by that change. And so we need to include those people in the process in the very beginning of our planning. You need a strategy. So, in that strategic plan, include representation of those people in there. And then, two, you sometimes run into things where it's like, okay, we are stuck. we've put everything in place. We have the plan. We're executing. We're ready. We've even implemented, meaning we've communicated it, we've reinforced it, and it's just not happening the way we expect it to happen. People aren't adhering to it. Some people are not even aware that we've made this change, and you need a full court press to get everybody back on track. The fascinating thing that I've learned about full court press is it's not something you can do all the time. You can't sustain that level of pressure all the time on everyone. People will get tired. And it's too risky. Why? Because you are pulling people away from the places that they normally and they are working in. You're pulling people away from their expertise, all to push and get everybody moving back into line with where the change has happened, helping people to understand where that change has happened. And so they've abandoned moving forward on their next assignment, or they've had to put it down. Maybe not abandon is the right word, but they've had to put it down for a minute so that we can get everybody rallied around the fact that we have made this change. We are moving, and we need to get beyond the apprehension that people are feeling, the left out feelings that people have because, hey, you made this change and you didn't tell me about it. Or we're doing all this work and we're working hard at it, and you created a new way for it and we didn't even get the memo. So we need to pull everyone at that time, get them moving. And so that's a risky place when you pull people away from their normal assignments to be able to help. So you don't want to sustain that. You don't want to keep having those type of activities. You want to be able to just do it for a short period of time, do it quickly so that people can get back on track, and then let people get back to their normalcy or their expected roles and responsibilities. So that's what we mean by full court press. You don't want to continue. It's not something you want to sustain and do all the time, because you don't want to run the risk of letting other things fall to the ground and not be completed, because you need those other things to be able to continue to make the progress and have the success that you need. The other thing is that you have people out of place because they're helping and rallying around. And agility and agile work frames, project work frames, we call it swarming. You're swarming around a situation, and you're having everybody work on that thing so that you can move beyond where it's stuck. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that for a long period of time or repeatedly. It should be able to do it and take things by surprise so that you can get things back on track. So you want to make sure in those cases every team of the member is fully equipped. This works best when every team member is fully equipped and has had experience in working in roles beyond their own, playing backup to a role. And sometimes we don't do that often enough. We have people, here's your role, this is what you want to do, and we've said it, stay in your lane. But can I encourage you that sometimes it's good to have people play backup in a role that's not theirs, that you don't mean for them to stay there, but they should be familiar about what it takes to complete that role, or to at least keep it moving in the absence of that person, or even if they're there, just so they get the feel of how it's going. So the full court press works best when your teammates are clear on all the roles. Your members of your teams are clear on all the roles, how they operate, what's the strengths of those roles, and how they are to carry those roles out for success, so that at least if they have to step in that role, they can plan and do it for a very short period of time, but do it well. And you can do that full court press if you make sure members of your team can back up the role of others on their own. You want to give clear direction when you're giving full court press past the drama. When you have a scenario where there's been a breakdown in communication or a breakdown in application, you want to be able to give clear direction on where you want people to go and how to get them back on track. So that means, where do we want people to start again? Do we want them to start at the beginning? So that means, look, we need to get as many people out there to share the information so people are aware. Or is it that we need people to step into the workflow that we've just created at a certain point because we have all this backup, and we need to get direction out there so that they can step in to where the breakdown has happened, so we can keep things moving along the workflow. So give clear direction to the members of those who are swarming, who are going and helping you get back on track, past that drama, past the breakdown. You want to also give very clear expectations of the results. So, obviously, in this scenario, you're not in the best scenario. You're not in a situation where everything's going perfect. So, your expected results should be realistic. You're coming out of a place, and you're trying to bring your team, you're trying to bring your organization out of a place that you did not intend for them to be. Um, Maybe the product wasn't released as successfully as you needed it to, or they're reaching the clients and customers and serving them, but the customers are not responding in the way that you expected them to. That means you need a full court on press, swarming together to figure out, one, where's the breakdown, and two, what's the expected result that we want to be able to get people back on track. It may be, hey, we're going to simply look for educating people on where we're going, what we're offering. It may be we're not only going to offer them, get them back on track to what we're offering, but we're going to walk them through the first 2 or 3 steps with very closely reinforcing what we're expecting them to do, reinforcing those steps so they can repeat those steps often and on their own. And that's where we're having the press, we're swarming. We have everybody working on getting people through those first 3 critical steps so they can feel the benefit of our services, and then get everybody back to normalcy. And then we want to make sure that we do announce to our team and our team members, they're very clear on, okay, we're measuring, we're monitoring the effects of how we're moving, how people are recovering. We're measuring how people are recovering. We're measuring how the team is doing, making sure that the team is not getting overly exhausted. There will be some exhaustion there because we're out of our flow, we're out of our norm of practicing, we're out of our expertise, which you can say, but we've had to do that to move things back on track. Monitor how your team is responding to that. Monitor how the customers and clients are responding to your additional help. And when they're at that expected place, when you see things are moving again, things are clicking with people. People now are aware and they can help continue to spread that message. Now you can take your team and bring them back, have a debriefing, huddle back up, and be able to say, okay, now let's get back to the business at hand, which is what we had to set aside for a moment and a brief time so we can get everybody moving in the right direction again. It happens. It happens even at your best intentions. It happens that you can put a plan, a strategy in place. You can execute that strategy, meaning that you can, when you're putting it in place, you're making sure everything's ticked and tied so it will run very well. People know their position. You have the job aids or the tools that people need. Everything's been prepared, and then you go to implement, and people are not aware, people are not following, people are confused. Sometimes we think that we're giving direction, and people come back and say, I don't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not seeing what you said I would see. And that's because people need to hear again. We need to give clear direction. Can I remind you, and I've said this in some of my other podcasts, if the people across the table from you who you're expecting to see and follow your results or follow your direction aren't getting it, that's not necessarily their issue. We have to continue to figure out ways to say it, which is why reinforcing what you're putting in place is so, so critical. Because people may be in a room nodding and saying, yep, okay, got it. And then they go to do it and they don't have it. So find creative ways to reinforce, reinforce, and reinforce again until you see coming back at you what you expect, until you see the outcome and the results that you desire really, really showing up in your place. So I hope this is helpful. There are times when there's just drama going on in your workplace. People aren't getting it. They missed it for whatever reason. And that's the time when you have to have a full court press, swarming, as we say in the agile world, around pulling your team members in and helping people that you're trying to reach get back on track. I hope you find this helpful. If you have any questions or want to learn more about how you can move your team forward, it is my greatest desire to work with you. I work with leaders to make sure that they're creating a healthy culture where everyone can thrive. And there are various scenarios that we come across in our workplaces where we have to be equipped to help people move through. And many times we don't know that going in, and we need some help. So that's what I'm here to help you with. I'm here to help you as a leader. If you want coaching one-on-one, I'm here to help you get over those hurdles, to be able to move forward. Again, not only having a strategic plan, but executing that plan and implementing that plan. Have a fantastic morning. Have a wonderful day and an awesome weekend. And we will see you back here on Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens next week, next time. In the meantime, leave your comments, leave your questions. You can reach out to me on Facebook at Yvette C. Owens, or Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, or my my website is the Diplomat Chronicles. You'll find awesome information out there, blogs, um, other podcasts you can find on Yvette C. Owens on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find them very helpful. And yeah, reach out to me. There's ways to connect with me on my website. Again, that is thediplomatchronicles.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing from you real soon. Have a great day.